Hello, welcome to Lesson 4. This week we'll be continuing the writing process by making revisions and editing and publishing our work. It's an exciting week this week, and hopefully you prepared yourself well by learning about Jing and writing your rough draft last week. That would have been a helpful start. We're thinking about ourselves, we're asking these questions, and your 3 goals for this lesson this week are to, again, like I mentioned, revise and edit, to implement those principles in your essay, and to record a polished version of your beliefs as a Jing screencast, which I will show you an example of and how to do in this video. You'll follow the following tasks this week, so if you'll notice here, you'll need to study the presentations on editing and revision. They're going to be very helpful for you. There's some great examples of what this is going to help you do if you read in the prepare folder. An article about simplicity. It talks about the importance of cutting things out of our writing, which I know can be really hard to do because we spent time to write it. So why should we edit it? Correct? I understand that feeling very well. You're also going to post your draft. This is the important part of the week, I believe. So this week you're going to, on Monday, that's, hopefully today when you're watching this, you're going to go to the Teach One Another folder and enter the writing workshop groups. In these groups, you will post a new thread that has a copy of your rough draft. Then by Wednesday, you will offer feedback to everyone in your group. There's about 4 or 5 people in each group. So in your group, you're going to follow these guidelines and comment on the following things: what you think their thesis was, what techniques they showed as a writer, what you really liked, be specific, okay? What you liked about their telling details, because just saying it was good is not really a helpful tool to someone who wants to revise their writing. Comment on the essay's clarity. What made sense? What didn't make sense? I know as a writer, when I'm writing something, I think what I'm saying makes perfect sense, and I totally understand what I mean, of course. But when I have someone else read it, they often don't see what I mean, and they can ask me questions that will help me clarify what I mean to say and what I intend to say, or ask me important questions. Did the writer make it easy to understand? When you're giving this feedback, that's helpful to know. Don't be too harsh on them by saying I didn't understand anything, but come up with a way to ask questions, to pull out details if there's something you didn't specifically understand. And then finally, you can talk about where you think they're at in the drafting process. They could be the early stages, is that rough draft part, right? They're thinking through the material. They aren't sure what they really have to say about the process. The middle stage, they require some more revision and editing, and the late stages, and that's when it looks pretty perfect and you want to make some changes about ineffective sentences or awkward wording, but it's in the pretty final stages. This is to help with revision. Now, if you go back to last week's presentation, you'll learn about what revision really looks like and how it's different from editing. So hopefully you offer some helpful feedback that will help the person decide what major changes they want to do to improve their paper. Use this writer's workshop as a really strong tool to help you, and if you do this by Wednesday, then everyone will have a chance to go back to their essay and really perfect it before they turn it in to me. So if you go back to the goals for the week, you will notice that you also need to record your I believe statement in a podcast or a screencast. Now, there are some very specific instructions on how to do this, and if you look in the Ponder Proof folder, you'll see those instructions. There's also a rubric that I want you to pay attention to, because this is how I will be grading your essay. I'm going to be looking at focus, organization, concrete examples, right? I don't want you just to ramble on about a belief that you have, but show me why you believe it and what specific experience made you believe that. I'm looking at your editing, and The vocal presentation. Did you make it lively and interesting? That's helpful when you're reading it out loud. So that's the rubric I want you to look closely at. If you're going to use Jing, which I suggest you do, it's a helpful tool. You download it here and you can follow some videos here. It's very easy. You can see I have a Jing up here, and if I want to record what I'm doing, I simply open this up and pick the size of screen I want, and then simply come here to capture video. At the end, when I'm done, I can save it to my desktop or I can send it to screencast. Either way, it's an easy way to save it and to send it on. All you have to do is hit record. Jing doesn't allow you to edit it a lot, so just do a good job, know what you want to say, practice through it a few times. If you want to have a picture or something to look at, that's often helpful when you are doing that. So I will show you an example of what my finished screencast or Jing looks like in my course notes. So the other things I want to show and point out to you, in the further study, there's a great essay. Well, it's a speech. President Hinckley gave this speech, and it's his "This I Believe" statement, and he actually has 10, and each one of them is its own essay in itself, and he really outlines some very specific reasons why he believes those things, and not all of them necessarily are as gospel-centered as you would think they would be, right? I mean, they're not. There are some that definitely are testimonials, but there are some that follow some very, just life important lessons that he offers. This is a great further study essay if you're looking for something else to add to your week. It's going to be a pretty full week, and I'm confident that you guys will do a great job, and I'm looking forward to listening to your podcasts, reading your self-evaluation, which is where you get to grade yourself, and copy that into your submission there, so that'd be awesome. And then we can next week listen to each other's podcasts. That's going to be an exciting element to next week as well. So this is going to be an exciting week, and I know it could be challenging for some of you to make the download work. So if that's a problem for you, know that if you contact the online support center for technical difficulties, they will walk you through any difficulties you have or answer most technical questions that you have that I won't be able to help you with necessarily. So good luck this week, and again, I look forward to hearing your podcast.